local news, including a fatal fire in Norwalk, an auction to support an area native with ALS, and much more. John Kovach joins us today with a look at the forecast and later on a Nutmeg Sports update. And later in the show, we feature an interview with a doctor at Silver Hill Hospital about the neurobiology of eating disorders and food as medicine. But first, in today's news, an elderly woman died in a house fire in Norwalk Sunday morning. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that firefighters were called to 25 Bettswood Road at about 7 a.m. Deputy Fire Chief Stephen Shea said firefighters saw heavy flames coming from a second-story bedroom window, and neighbors said a woman was inside. Shea said firefighters had a difficult time getting to the woman because of clutter in that two-story home. To locate the woman and extinguish the fire, firefighters had to crawl on top of the garbage. Firefighters found the woman on the second floor and brought her outside and started CPR. The woman was taken to Norwalk Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. And a man riding a motor scooter suffered injuries on Friday after Stratford police say he was hit by a car. Police said the unidentified man was hit by a Toyota Camry just before 8 o'clock at night on Friday. Police said the accident occurred at the intersection of Canaan Road near Mary Avenue. A preliminary investigation shows that the moped operator was traveling south on Mary Avenue and attempted to cross Canaan Road when he was hit by the Camry, which was traveling west. Police said the moped operator was ejected and suffered serious injuries. He was taken to Bridgeport Hospital. Police said the Camry driver remained on the scene and was cooperative with police. That accident remains under investigation. And in other Stratford news, a Florida man is facing several charges after Stratford police say he robbed a bank and attempted a second robbery. 55-year-old Keith Abel of Florida was arrested on Friday. Police said Abel was arrested after robbing a Webster Bank location of $1,200 and then attempting to rob a Walgreens pharmacy. Police said Abel was taken into custody in Milford after he crashed a car that was stolen from South Carolina. Police said no weapons were displayed during the robberies and no one was injured. Police said the investigation is ongoing, and you could get more details at StratfordStar.com. And in other news, a Fairfield man faces multiple charges after he went to his ex-girlfriend's house in Easton late Thursday night in what was described by police as in a rage. 46-year-old Mark Steinfeld of Bloomfield Drive in Fairfield parked his car behind his ex-girlfriend's vehicle, got out and began yelling and swearing in the driveway as well as on the rear deck of the home, Easton police said. He broke a snow shovel and struck the window on the rear door of the house, almost breaking it. As Steinfeld stood on the rear deck, he was threatening to break the window when his ex-girlfriend opened the door. When he entered the kitchen, police say he pushed a water glass off the counter, shattering it. He continued to yell and scream obscenities not only at his ex-girlfriend but also at her children. Steinfeld finally exited the house, entered his vehicle, and subsequently struck his ex-girlfriend's vehicle on the rear bumper with his car before leaving the driveway. Police couldn't find Steinfeld last Thursday night but located him Friday and took him into custody. And Connecticut State Police have arrested a Hamden man after he allegedly struck a cruiser with his car on Interstate 95 in Guilford. The cruiser was stopped in the left lane Saturday night with its emergency lights activated to close a travel lane so passengers on a disabled bus could move to another bus. A police report said that 48-year-old Gennaro Javier Clazels sideswiped the cruiser, nearly striking a trooper who was getting road flares out of the trunk. Police said Clazels stopped briefly but then left the scene. Police said his vehicle broke down less than a mile away, and he was charged with operating under the influence of alcohol, evading responsibility, and failure to yield to an emergency vehicle. He was scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. And the Ridgefield Police Department has received numerous calls this week from residents regarding the IRS impersonation scam. The scammers call taxpayers claiming to be IRS officials and demand the person pay a bogus tax bill. The callers will usually request that the victim pay the bill with a prepaid debit card or a wire transfer. The scammers may use threats of arrest and bullying tactics in the attempt to get the victim to pay, and it should be noted that they have not received any reports in Ridgefield of a financial loss. But you can get tips on how to avoid falling victim to that scam at theridgefieldpress.com. And on February 15th at about 9 o'clock at night, the New Canaan Police Department investigated a report of a residential burglary on Mortimer Street. Both the main residence and a garage apartment were entered. The garage apartment was unlocked and the main residence, however, was forcibly entered. Initial reports show that jewelry and a firearm were taken. New Canaan police urge all residents to activate their alarm systems, secure all valuables, and report any suspicious persons by calling 911. And an unusual theft reported in Reading. Lawn ornaments and an entire peach tree were stolen from a home on Blueberry Hill Road last week, possibly the morning of Wednesday, February 8th. According to police, the home was unoccupied. The peach tree was dug up out of the ground, which is quite a feat in the wintertime. You can get more on that story at thereadingpilot.com. But let's switch gears and throw it over to John Kovach for a look at the forecast. Filling in today, John.
The whole
Happy
tree,
to have you.
the whole tree, roots and all.
In the wintertime, they really wanted that peach tree.
Well, had they waited till yesterday, it was like spring yesterday.
That's true. They would have had an easier time getting in
I hope
there.
you got outside and enjoyed it a little bit.
I definitely did.
I know I did. It's going to be a little chillier today, Kate. Strong winds, 20 to 25 miles an hour, but there'll still be plenty of sunshine. Expected high about 46 degrees, so we're crawling and clawing our way out of winter. We'll see patches of afternoon clouds before a mostly clear and more seasonably cold night. Temperatures falling down into the low 20s. Cool again tomorrow, partly sunny skies for most of the day, but not as windy Tuesday. Temperatures again in the mid to high 40s. Overcast skies begin late in the afternoon tomorrow, and we'll see overnight showers starting Tuesday evening, continuing into Wednesday morning, with mild conditions overnight Tuesday and a low of 37. Be a passing shower or two Wednesday morning before a warmer and milder afternoon. Around Fairfield County, sunny skies later in the day. Expected high of 52, so we're getting back up toward that 60, Kate. Mostly cloudy overnight Wednesday, temperatures back in the mid-40s. It's only going to get warmer as the week goes on, so we can start to think about an end to the winter.
Sounds good, John. Thanks so much. Well, we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, John has your Nutmeg Sports update, and we have more local news coming up after this.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars.
Wow.
Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
It's all about meeting goals this year, and Trinity CrossFit of Ridgefield has experienced trainers, top-of-the-line equipment, and a newly renovated space to help get you there. Offering more classes per day than any other CrossFit gyms in the area, we cater to all fitness levels. Our coaches have a combined 10 years of experience in CrossFit, and as competitors themselves, Trinity coaches can get you ready for competition in 2017. Visit our convenient location on Route 7, Danbury Road, or find out more at trinitycrossfit.com.
Whether you're looking for the freshest seafood, the perfect steak, or want to share delicious appetizers, look no further than the Stone's Throw in Seymour. Chef Peter Haum has more than 30 years of experience creating original recipes in his American eclectic style. Our dishes are made from scratch with fresh, local ingredients that pair perfectly with a seasonal craft beer, a signature cocktail, or your favorite wine. When you visit our Riverside location, you'll feel like you're on vacation when you're only a stone's throw from home. Visit us on Roosevelt Drive in Seymour or at StonesThrowCT.com. At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Wild Birds Unlimited, your one-stop shop for all your backyard bird hobby needs. Premium bird seed, freshly delivered each week. A great selection of bird feeders, houses, a patented pole system, bird baths, and a vast array of wonderful gifts of whimsy and nature. Visit us at 356 Heights Road in Darien, next to the post office, and across from Norotan Heights Railroad Station. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and we've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273 7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. President's Day, but we're here in studio. John, you're filling in for Frank Granito. We don't have Don Ang either this week for history. So
Why don't I fill in for Don since I'm standing
I like it.
here?
Let's do it.
But I won't do as good a job as Don. But there are a couple of anniversaries I do want to throw in. The founding of the U.S. Postal Service and the 55th anniversary today of the first orbital flight by an American, that by John Glenn. So
Good stuff.
Don will do a better job when he's back. Now I got to fill in for Frank on sports.
Do it. We had a busy Saturday in FCAT girls basketball and for the HAN Network. So
Very busy Saturday, particularly for Frank, who went to both ends of that doubleheader. He and I were in Norwalk, where top-seeded Trumbull ousted the 8th seed Staples 54-37, led by Claudia Tucci with 21 points. So the Eagles are going to try to avenge their only loss this season when they face the 5th-seeded Fairfield Ward Mustangs, who edged 4th-seeded Norwalk 47-46 Saturday when the Bears threatened the final seconds, didn't go through the hoop. Ward's Daha Polk led all scorers with 14 points. Her teammate Shania Osborne added 12. Sarah St. Surin scored 13 to lead the Norwalk Bears. Ward edged Trumbull 54-53 on February 10th, and that ended Trumbull's hopes for an unbeaten season. The second doubleheader saw third-seeded and defending FCAC champ Stamford and second-seeded Ridgefield both advance. Stamford led Danbury 33-5 after one quarter, 48-17 at the half, cruising to a 66-42 victory. Kelly Jagodzinski scored 17 for the Tigers. Susanna Almeida tallied 15 for the Hatters. Ridgefield, which hosted the second twin bill, punched its ticket to the semifinals with a 74-61 victory over Greenwich. But there are questions about starting center Elizabeth Middlebrook, who was injured with 2 minutes left in the first quarter and did not return. Ridgefield's Carolyn Colonel led all scorers with 23 points. Grace Goodwin added 19. Megan O'Hara added 17 for Ridgefield. Shea Galetta and Emily Anderson scored 17 each for Greenwich. So Ridgefield will face third-seeded Stamford in the first game of the semifinal doubleheader at Fairfield Ludlow Tuesday at 6. That will be followed around 7:45 by the Trumbull Ward contest. Both games, along with Thursday's FCAC Girls Basketball Championship, can be seen right here on the HAN Network. The boys hockey playoffs will be more in focus after today's game, which will be on at 4 o'clock here on the HAN Network. Darien traveling to the Dorothy Hamill rink to take on Greenwich. Darien currently holds the 5th spot with 13 points. Greenwich and Stamford West Hill tied for that 6th and final spot, both with 11 points, both with 2 games left. Greenwich and Stamford West Hill face each other Tuesday at 4, also at the Dorothy Hamill rink, to finish the FCAC regular season. Danbury continued its dominance on the wrestling mats this weekend as the Hatters, who have won 19 state titles, racked up 272.5 points, placed 7 wrestlers in the finals, won 4 weight classes, and just cruised to the Class XL title in the championship meet at Trumbull High. Xavier was a distant second with 191 points. Danbury's champions were Ryan Jack at 106 pound, Jacob Camacho at 120, Andrew Marquise at 220, and Michael Gabardi at 285. Trumbull, which finished 5th overall, got championships from Matt Ryan at 113 pounds, Tristan Haviland at 126. Ward, which finished 6th as a team, had championships from Timmy Kane at 138 pounds and Joseph Janaj at 182. 5 of the 10 FCAC teams at the Class XL meet finished in the top 10. In addition to Danbury, Trumbull, and Ward, Ridgefield was 8th, West Hill 10th. The FCAC sent 4 teams to the Class L meet at Bristol Central. Finishing in the top 10 were Wilton at 9th and New Canaan 10th. Again, we've got ice hockey, Darien at Greenwich. 4 o'clock start here on the HAN Network this afternoon. For sports, John Kovach, back to you, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, John. Well, in other local news, in light of the Ridgefield community expressing compassion and empathy for refugees and immigrants, Ridgefield resident Alan Ibbotson has made welcome signs for those interested in helping to promote peace. Ibbotson is offering them for $5, which is a suggested donation, with 100% of the proceeds going to the International Rescue Commission. He has 50 of the signs to distribute. Anyone interested in purchasing a sign has been asked to message Amy Berger-Garvallo or Ibbotson on Facebook, and you can get more information at theridgefieldpress.com. And on Friday, March 3rd, Friends of New Canaan Lacrosse, a nonprofit organization, is sponsoring a party and silent auction at Grace Farms in New Canaan to benefit New Canaan High School alum and nationally celebrated lacrosse player Graham Harden. The evening will begin with a cocktail reception in the Commons Room where guests can mingle and bid on many special auction items, such as an African safari, a day at the U.S. Open in Flushing, Queens, and a once-in-a-lifetime experience at the Masters in Augusta, Georgia. The cocktail reception will be followed by an exclusive screening of the film Gleason. That award-winning documentary portrays former NFL player Steve Gleason's battle with ALS. Now, in August of 2016, Harden, who's 48 years old and a married father of 3, as well as a volunteer fireman, first responder, and high school coach, was diagnosed with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. ALS patients universally experience progressive muscle weakness that eventually robs them of the ability to walk, talk, swallow, and ultimately breathe, all while leaving their minds intact. Now, to purchase tickets or to make a donation, go to 501auctions.com/GeForceGameOn. But for more information on that event, you can also visit ncadvertiser.com. And just in time for the mini school break this week, Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo has a little idea that's sure to be a big hit with kids. New to the zoo family is a pair of miniature horses, diminutive charmers named Nutmeg and Caramel. Guests will find them in an exhibit at the New England Farmyard. Joining the zoo from a farm in Vermont, Nutmeg is a male and Caramel is a female. They're shorter than the smallest pony. They both stand about 9 hands or 36 inches tall. Now, full-grown mini horses weigh between 100 and 250 pounds. Although small, they're quite strong. But you can get more information on that at beardsleyzoo.org. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to feature our next interview this month with the experts at Silver Hill Hospital. Today, we're going to be talking with Dr. Sarah Niego about the neurobiology of eating disorders and food as medicine. That coming up after this.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. Mr. HandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
Mr. HandymanCT.com.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
At Sports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, Sports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign your child up now for Sports Future Stars Basketball Academy, teaching skills on the basketball court for boys and girls ages 5 through 9. Visit insportscenters.com for more information on this 7-week program. And for adults, spots are also still available for our men's 30 and over and 40 and over leagues. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands at the President's Day event and Ram Truck Month, now through February 28th.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ing for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Thursday, where we bring you all the top stories from Connecticut sports.
From highlights to player interviews and expert analysis, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, now Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
I'm Kate Czaplinski for the HAN Network, and February is National Eating Disorder Awareness Month, and we're at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan talking with experts about a number of pertinent issues around eating disorders and treatment. And I'm joined today by Dr. Sarah Niego, who is the service chief of the Eating Disorders Program at Silver Hill. Dr. Niego, so happy to have you with us.
So happy to be here. I'm glad to have this topic discussed.
So we're going to be talking about neurobiology of the brain, including food
Yes.
as medicine.
Yes.
And first, let's start with how do you explain eating disorders in terms of nutrition and neuroscience?
Eating disorders, like really every other psychiatric disorder, are brain diseases. They are not choices, they are genetically linked, and in terms of brain, how do you describe eating disorders? Is there is something in the brain of people who ultimately have eating disorders. I would say it's not that they are they come out, they're sort of revealed. Mm-hmm. So the right amount of anxiety in early, you can kind of see features of what might ultimately be someone who will struggle with an eating disorder early in age. Features like extreme anxiety, rigidity, difficult to soothe child, can lead to, in the context of malnutrition, really kind of kicking in, and the brain disease really shows itself. So these things come out with malnutrition. They're there though to start. And
wow, that's really interesting. Now, so in the brain of those that have eating disorders, what might lead to those dysfunctional eating behaviors?
Well, malnutrition, as I said, is one of the big things. And malnutrition can be starvation, for example, with anorexia nervosa, but also just intermittent restriction and then binge eating, purging, just leading to vitamin deficiencies, electrolyte disturbances, and ultimately the brain just does not function and becomes sort of a different entity. You look at somebody, two people, one, they both go on an extreme diet after New Year's and lose some weight, and one of the two decides to abandon the diet after a week or two. The other one continues, and it kind of intensifies, and they get to a place where it becomes almost unescapable. The person can't stop it, and something has sort of clicked, and they now have something more than a diet, So this is the person who comes to the table genetically with a predisposition.
And let's talk about when someone that might be predisposed to an eating disorder or have an eating disorder, they look in the mirror. Why do some people not see themselves as they actually appear in that mirror?
That's one of the most perplexing symptoms, and people are still trying to elucidate really what that is in terms of the brain. We know some things. There's a lot of research going on that's very interesting, including brain scans and looking at the way a person responds to things. So we know that people, for example, with anorexia, where that's one of the main features, is this kind of seeing yourself as overweight, even though you technically are not. We know that there's some difficulty with the parietal lobe, which is kind of the part of the brain that senses the person in space and also is tuned into the internal sensations like temperature and heartbeat and all of that. And people with anorexia really can't do that as well. They have really poor, what we call it, interoceptive awareness. And so there's issues with that and the parietal lobe, which again can lead to just really not sensing your body the way it actually is.
So can the brain be fixed? I mean, what can be done to change that?
Good question too. So the brain is a malleable thing, meaning it can change and modify itself. If the brain is starved or malnourished, the chances are slim, but with nutritional restoration, the brain really can be healed. And with not just food, that's just the bottom line. You need food, but then therapy, real good work in therapy and medications and nutrition. The three together can really heal the brain and give a person a future that they would not have had otherwise.
And you mentioned this earlier a little bit, but we hear the term food is medicine a lot.
Right.
But in this case, it really is medicine. I mean, can we talk more about that, why that's so important?
Well, food is medicine. I mean, especially if someone's malnourished, because you see all the things come out that are extreme anxiety, depression. All of that stuff is a kind of a consequence of starvation. That was shown in a really well-known study, the Keys starvation study, where this psychologist had a bunch of actually males who were wanting to avoid the draft sign up for a study where they were essentially starved, and they actually ultimately looked a lot like anorexic patients. They had the same body image issues. They had the same. They hoarded food. They binged. They themselves started out healthy and they ended up with eating disorders. So we know that nutrition plays such a role. They recovered when they were refed, for the most part, and we know that you need to be fed. That's the first step in treating the eating disorder. So it is a brain disease, and it comes out with malnutrition.
Dr. Diego, that's really interesting. This is really important information, and so appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you.
All right, and if you want to find out more about our month-long partnership with Silver Hill Hospital, you can visit our website at han.network. Any of that interview with Dr. Diego, you can catch it later at han.network on demand. We are going to wrap things up here on your coffee break, but still a busy day on the HAN network. HAN Arts and Leisure live in the studio at 12:30, so check it out. And a special pregame Nutmeg Sports at 3:30, and that's right before the boys hockey game at 4 o'clock, Darien at Greenwich, so be sure to check it out. And of course, we will see you for your coffee break tomorrow at 11.